direct conversation, some deep reactions, please. All this comics narration ain't late me. A little more talk, a lot less read. A little fight, baby, is what I need. Close the trade, open up your brains. Explain it to me. Explain it to me, baby. Explain it to me.
Thank you, Bandello, and welcome to Rec Conversations. My name is Josh Wasta, a.k.a. Fallout Fury. And it's been pointed out to me that I have not done the same service to my co-host on this show as I do to Bear on Graphically Novel. So I think I'm going to try 90s lyrics to introduce my co-host. So, we had Professor L on the backup, drug-free, with the crack up. It's Leia Cameron.
Oh my God. Hello.
Hey, welcome. I did not warn you about that ahead of time.
You did not. I was not prepared.
That just makes it better.
Yeah, that's right. You got some good vibrations there.
God.
And with us for this show,
right,
sorry?
I was going to say, you use him for her, but not for me, considering the names.
With us today, our guest, Mark Paar. Mark, we are going to be explaining Secret Wars to you, the 2015 version, not the toy commercial. Are you ready for this?
I hope so.
Mark, you've been with us for our Spirit episode over on Graphically Novels, so we're not going to do the what you know about or what your experience with comic books whole background is, but definitely check that out if you are interested in Mark after this. Before we get into this though, Leia, was this your first time reading?
This one, yeah. I think I read the first one, gosh, ages ago, but this is my first time reading this one, for sure.
How'd you do with it?
You know, it wasn't as hateful as some of the other ones that we've done.
No, but very confusing. So,
yeah.
There's going to be a couple caveats to this. I am, in fact, going to. Okay, two different things. One, I am going to use either numbers 616 or 1610 before all the superheroes' names. 616 is your main Marvel storyline. 1610 is the Ultimate Universe, and the reason I'm doing that is that they're mixed, and in some cases, the same characters from both are involved. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say Doom, and in that case, it is just our Doctor Doom that we all know. And then I'm going to say God Doom. God Doom is Doom with powers because they kind of are different characters in this. Just to give everybody a heads up, and Mark to give you a heads up as well. For anybody that has not listened to this show before, this is how the format's going to go. I have 17 pages of notes, and I will be bringing Mark step by step through this storyline of Secret Wars. At any point, Mark has the emergency break to stop the entire show and ask any question he chooses. It could be, who is that? It could be, why would they do that? It could be, what the fuck? We get what the fuck a lot, especially when Mike's on the show. So, Mark, you have the power in your hands. The God Doom powers, the God Paar powers.
That's a scary thought.
Right? It is. At that point, Leia will answer the question that he has. In case she doesn't have the answer to that, she can phone a friend and ask me. If neither of us know, then we may Google or we may move along, depending on how much of a rabbit hole and how long the show has already gone.
There are definitely sometimes where we have to just be like, comic books.
Yeah. Yes.
Pretty much.
So here we go. Secret Wars 2015. So this starts with Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange, and Molecule Man confronting the Beyonders to try and save the multiverse. The only two universes that remain in the entirety of the multiverse at this point, we find out, is the 616 universe, which is the regular canon Marvel universe, and the 1610 universe, which is the Ultimate Universe. Over in the Ultimate Universe, 1610 Nick Fury talks with 1610 Reed Richards, who has become a villain and calls himself the Maker. And he's talking about the world ending, and he wants to know how much time is left. The Maker says it could be minutes, but how long it lasts, like the conversion actually lasts, depends on how fast Fury can destroy the 616 universe. The Maker is 100% certain this is the last world, implying Fury has destroyed others to save the 1610 universe. 1610 Hawkeye asks 1610 Fury if they can trust the Maker. And he says no, but they have no choice. Meanwhile, the Maker is having a conversation with someone off panel, and it's revealed that the Maker basically lied to Fury, and there's no possibility of saving the universe. And he lied to save some time. And then it's revealed that he is talking to the 1610 Cabal, which is an organization of most of the 1610 world's villains, including Thanos and Thanos's entourage.
The Black Order.
Yeah, the Black Order. Thank you. So back in 616, S.H.I.E.L.D. has informed all the world's leaders about the incursion, which is what they're calling the two-world mashing. And the leaders have assured their people that there is danger, but it's being handled. The public acts pretty much as you would expect the public to act when their leaders are like, the world might end, but don't worry about it. We're on top of it. And they go fucking nuts. And then the incursion starts. There are explosions happening next to the Baxter building, the 616 Baxter building. And inside, the 616 Fantastic Four and Black Panther are working on a life raft. Since 616 Reed is sure humanity is doomed. 616 Spider-Woman and 616 Black Widow start to arrive after evacuating scientists that they have kind of deemed worthy to go on the life raft. Beast is on there. That's one of the only characters that was front and center. And he mentioned that Dr. May and Dr. Zhang both chose not to go and to die with the world and with their families and everything. Black Panther tells Manifold, who is in a mech suit, that there are two scenarios. Everything goes as planned with the life raft launch, and they teleport Manifold onto the life raft, or things go wrong and Manifold turns on the suit that he's designed for him.
Who's Manifold?
Manifold is so his thing is that he can bend time and space, and he can teleport and stuff. He is a mutant, I believe.
Yeah.
And he is that's pretty much all I really know about him. He's basically just like a souped up teleporter. That's his deal.
Yeah. Super new character, actually. This is in 2015. His first appearance was in 2009.
Oh, wow.
He's part of everything that Hickman's been doing with the X-Men and with this and with, all the stuff that since Hickman has come involved, in the Marvel universe. So, kind of a newer character.
Needs another teleporter.
Right. So 616 heroes, including Iron Man, Captain Marvel, the Defenders, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, are fighting 1610's Fury's Armada in 616 New York City. They're about to be overwhelmed when 616 Thor and Storm team up and take down a helicarrier in a very actually cool scene. Lots of lightning. 616 Iceman and 616 Falcon Captain America see Sentinels appear and comment they come from Nation X, which is formerly Utopia, which is formerly Asteroid M. Cyclops.
That's not, what is it, Krakoa?
No, Krakoa shows up after this.
Okay.
So the events of Hoxpox are after Secret Wars.
All right.
Tune into our episode on Hoxpox.
Listen to me struggle.
616 Cyclops is revealed to be giving the orders to the Sentinels. 1610 Stark informs 1610 Fury that they are down to 20% of their carriers and need help, just as the 616 She-Hulk, Colossus, Nightcrawler, and Hulk, not Hulk, Hulk's son, Scar, take out the command center of the 616 incursion force. Fury informs 1610 Maker.
Wait, hold on. Can you back up a little bit? So
Sure.
It's the 616 Hulk, Scar, and everybody else took out the 616 carrier?
The 1610 carrier.
Okay.
Yeah, the main command center.
Right.
With small special, actually, which, always good to see that. So 1610 Fury informs 1610 Richards, the Maker, that they failed and instructs him to, quote, launch the Doomsday World Killer weapon and hope for the best, end quote.
Yep.
The Maker says that 1610 Fury did unbelievably well, considering he was never going to succeed. At that point, a pink bubble appears over 616 New York and cracks. The Maker says that it's a temporal bubble that is not opening fast enough. The Maker then launches the Doomsday weapon on 616. In the midst of all this, randomly, Miles Morales is showing having stowed away on the giant ship on the secret doomsday weapon and seems to be confused by what it is, just that he was investigating it and then it launched.
So he's just there to be there.
Well, yeah, he was. You find out later that basically he was like swinging around in 1610 and saw like Thanos and all of his goons and everything and went, "Hey, those are bad guys. I can tell because of their costumes. I'm gonna go see what they're doing," and stows away.
I mean, there are worse reasons to chase after somebody, I guess.
It's true, and it's also very, very Miles.
It is.
So, meanwhile, all of this is in the 616 universe. Wilson Fisk has announced in an email that he's hosting an end of the world party and is paying for drinks.
That seems on brand.
It is very on brand.
He invites all villains to join him, drink, and celebrate the end of the world. Many villains show up, and it shows in a panel that there's just a bunch of them drinking. When the Punisher shows up and says, quote, "They say when you die, you can't take it with you," which begs the question, what am I going to do with all these bullets?
Wow.
I mean, I normally am not like big on the Punisher, but I really felt that that was good storytelling.
Yeah, no, this scene was the world is ending, people are doing what they want, and the Punisher gets a present.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exactly what he wanted for Christmas.
It's true.
It just kind of makes me think of that moment in Civil War when bad guys join the anti-registration and Punisher just goes, "Oh, bad guys dead."
Right.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, very much. So meanwhile, in Leia's saddest part, Black Widow's ship is destroyed.
Boo this book.
So that signals T'Challa that they have to go with option 2. He will basically power the suit that Manifold is in and basically find, quote, the survivors they need, end quote, and just like teleport them against their will onto this life raft. Back at the Sentinels.
So we're going with the Illuminati. I'm going to save the world no matter what the personal cost is to anybody else.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that Illuminati. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It sounds like they've been acting Illuminati.
Oh my God.
No, nice. Well done. Well done. Meanwhile, 616 Cyclops is warned that the defenses by Professor X, the defenses basically for the 616 universe will fail in 1 minute. And he states, "That's cool. That's enough time for the Phoenix egg to hatch."
Yep.
He then rebonds with the Phoenix Force entirely.
This seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
In general, yeah.
Would not recommend.
Yeah. While some heroes die, others are disappearing, including all 616. These are all 616. Peter Quill, Peter Parker, and Captain Marvel. All are there 1 second. There's not even Thanos dust. They're just gone the next second. 616,
I don't want to go.
Right. 616 Reed launches the life raft, leaving Manifold behind. The disappeared heroes are revealed to be on the life raft with 616 Cyclops.
So do we know why at this point that those particular people were chosen?
No, this is who Manifold, by using the suit, has teleported these people onto the ship. So all of the people that you see, and they're all 616, are Thor, Spider-Man, Cyclops, Captain Marvel, Star-Lord, Thing, and Franklin Richards. Valeria is also there.
Who's Valeria?
Valeria is Reed and Sue's daughter.
Yes.
Franklin's little sister.
She's like and I don't know how she ages throughout the series, but in this particular one, she's like a teen.
Yeah, she's like, I would say like 13, 14, whereas Franklin is closer to like 16, 17.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the carrier section of where they are is hit and shattered off of the life raft. Reed tries desperately to save it, and the carrier part seemingly vaporizes. 616 Reed laments the loss of his entire family in 1 moment.
Yeah.
Chapter 2, Doom Messiah. This starts with multiple Thor-looking guys trying to pick up Mjolnir. One does it and is deemed worthy to join a whole room of Thors, like the Thor Legion. Like, most of them still look like Thor, but then you have like some Beta Ray Bills in there.
There's one that that looks like a frog. Is kind of a nod to
Yes,
Frog
to
Thor, yeah.
Frog Thor. There's also
Okay.
Borthor. Borthor is in here.
Yeah, I think I remember something along from that showing up in A-Force.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
I would imagine that the Doom Guard showed up in many things. So the one who picks up has picked up the Mjolnir is introduced to this room, and there's a lot of like, what do we do? Justice. Who do we serve? Doom. The new Thor bends his knee in front of a giant Doctor Doom mask because, quote, God is watching, end quote.
Yeah.
New Thor is questioned by the other Thors as to where he comes from, and he says Higher Avalon. They request him to tell the histories to prove his worthiness. He repeats a creation myth with God Doom creating the light, but after he created the earth, he then created the kingdoms and set them upon it. The kingdoms are revealed to be isolationist, with travel between them only really allowed by special dispensation from the local baron. Not all kingdoms are as peaceful as Higher Avalon, and those are where the Doomsguard, all the Thors, dispense Doom's justice. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Utopolis, a hole has been uncovered by a possible earthquake, but they're saying they're arguing over whether it was an earthquake, and a team is sent to investigate. This includes Alex Powers and Dragon Man.
Okay, so Alex Powers is from Power Pack, right?
Yes.
Who's Dragon Man?
Dragon Man. I honestly have no idea who Dragon Man is.
Yeah,
I'm
this
gonna
is the
Google
first
it.
time I've ever actually seen Dragon Man. I know he's been in stuff. He's a former supervillain of the Fantastic Four.
Oh.
He's an android that was built to be a dragon.
Huh, who knew?
Well, there you go. Comic books.
Comic books.
They discuss Dragon Man's theory that the world did not form naturally, but instead as a composite. They find what may be one of the life rafts half buried in the ground. In a flyby of Higher Avalon, that two of the new Thor, and I will just describe him as lead Thor moving forward. But he has like basically the red beard and everything of one of the heroes three. I can't remember which one.
Oh God, I used to know their names. Not
Right?
Fandral. Not Fandral. Not I can picture him. All right, it's
Yes,
not.
but
It's not
anyway.
important. Moving on.
Yeah, lead Thor. But they fly by Higher Avalon. It's revealed that the Baron of Higher Avalon is Captain Britain, Jamie Braddock's. And then they discuss how there are hundreds of major and minor houses spread through the kingdoms. They then travel to Bar Sinister, where Baron Sinister is accused of discord and teleported to Castle Doom to face trial. Once again, Sinister is a goddamn delight in this entire comic book.
Give him his own book. Honestly,
I mean,
honestly,
Sinister has always been this flamboyant, menacing.
He is just an
stole
icon.
the
like-
show
he's like-
in Hoxpox.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's basically Frankenfurter as a mutant geneticist villain.
Yes, to coin a phrase from another podcast, which is Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men. He is glam as fuck. Like that is
Yes.
his superpower. Is
Like,
just being glam as fuck.
His aesthetic is wonderful. Like I think after we finish wrapping up this podcast, I think I'm actually going to write Marvel and apply to be a writer there just to write Dr. Sinister's
Mr. Sinister's comic. Nice.
because I have so many thoughts and feelings about this character, who's somebody I really didn't pay attention to prior to doing this podcast, and now I only want Sinister-centric stories. Thank you.
Right. Absolutely. So the High Court convenes, and God Doom himself sits in judgment on his throne, which is the World Tree. The charges are read to Sinister. What's that?
I said, because of course it is.
Because
Yeah.
Of course it is. Yeah. The charges are read to Sinister, including hiring pirates to ally himself with the kingdom of Hyperion, who is the Baron of Utopolis. Sinister denies the charges. He and basically says, and you can't prove anything anyway. The final charge is that he's charged with libel for calling Jamie Braddock's wife Megan a cow. And he basically says, well, that's because she looks like a cow. To which Jamie yells, she's pregnant. Like basically, you asshole. And Sinister says, oh, that's kind of worse, isn't it?
Oh God. Give him his own book.
Sinister's found guilty. and is ordered to pay restitution in coin or territory. However, he refuses and opts instead to meet his accuser in the arena, as is his right. Jamie starts to stand up and, Captain Britain up and say, I accept. But Sinister points out that Jamie wasn't the one that accused him. His younger brother, Brian, is. The combatants are given stun staves, and the first one to unconsciousness basically loses. In his first stroke, Brian decapitates Sinister, and then goes to basically do his, wrestler celebration by turning his back to the body.
Okay, well, there's your first mistake.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, commonly regarded as an unwise move.
Right, and basically everyone starts yelling at him not to turn his back on Sinister, because while the head lies there, the body beats the piss out of him into unconsciousness while the severed head of Sinister mocks him.
Again, very on brand for Sinister.
Iconic.
Sinister goes to basically do a killing move on Brian when God Doom speaks and orders everyone to their knees. God Doom says he knows of rebels seeking to overthrow him, and when they are questioned, they say Braddock. Doom demands Brian tell him where the rebels are. Brian says he doesn't know, so he is judged doomed and to forfeit his eyes, tongue, feet, and hands.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, well, he is leaving him with his perfect ears.
I was just thinking that too, because that's a very specific kind of punishment.
Right? Yes. Jamie springs up and confesses it's him supporting the rebels, not Brian. God Doom starts to center the entire Braddock family to death when a woman on his left places a hand on his arm and just says, mercy, to which God Doom gingerly takes her hand and says, yes, Susan, of course. It's now revealed that Susan Storm is God Doom's wife.
But because of course she is. I mean, he's been after her since this, when did Fantastic Four get started?
Like the 70s?
Yeah, earlier than that.
I mean, it could be.
I thought they were the early 60s, late 50s.
Yeah, I know they're called Marvel's First Family, but I think it was the 60s, because that was like when science was this whole big thing.
Right.
Space exploration, all that.
Back when people were interested and believed in science.
Wah, wah. So the final judgment is that Brian will be elevated to Baron of High Avalon. Sinister will be publicly whipped, which I don't think he really has a problem with.
I was thinking it. You just said it.
And Jamie is sentenced to, quote, the shield, end quote, which we don't know what it is yet. As the High Court dismisses, Valeria, who is in this world the child of Doom and Susan, talks with Sheriff Strange. It is revealed that God Doom formed two pillars of his society: law, which is the religion that Strange heads up, and the Foundation, which is science and discovery, which Valeria heads up. The discovery under Utopolis is then reported to Strange by Valeria, who heads up the Foundation. The ship that was found has been carbon dated and is older than Doom's creation of the world. Strange institutes a quarantine and suspends further research, as this is heresy. Meanwhile,
it's like finding dinosaur bones.
Right. Meanwhile, the shield is revealed to be a 16,000-mile-long, 250-foot-tall wall, keeping out the horrors that live beyond, which is symbiotes, zombies, the drone annihilation wave, and the Ultron army. Jamie, to fulfill his sentence, is basically tossed over the wall. Like, go fight things out there.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
And don't come back till you kill them all.
Right. And he seems to die fighting. Strange.
I like how you say seems to. I have a feeling we're going to see him again later.
Well, I didn't actually see him get, like, ripped apart. It's just, like, zombies swarmed on top of him. So, and I've watched enough Walking Dead to know not to trust that.
And I mean, it's regular Marvel, not like Frank Miller level of I have to show every gratuitous bit of violence ever.
Right. So Strange orders Lead Thor to quarantine the site on Utopolis. He takes a team and orders everyone not to touch anything. One of the workers basically like, but it's so beautiful, and touches the ship. The ship opens, and the team just starts to be slaughtered. The Lead Thor orders New Thor to run and tell Strange there is nothing but death here. It is revealed that inside the ship and coming out are all of the 1610 villains. Thanos' crew, the Black Order, the Maker, and then some other random people, including somebody that I was not familiar with, which was Black Swan, who comes in later there is a black swan who has not been there before, but has been created and inserted into every universe in the multiverse for a reason.
Okay. And so I don't know who Black Swan is either.
Right.
Yeah, she was new to me as well. I have never seen her before that I can think of.
Directly tied to this storyline.
Okay, so she is a created for this particular event character.
Yes, but everybody seems to know her. She's kind of like Buffy's little sister Dawn,
Right.
just randomly showing up. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's like, you remember Black Swan? And everybody's like, yeah. And I'm sitting there like, no.
Remember that time she went out for drinks with Black Widow and like,
they were super best friends.
And yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that particular trope of character becoming like essentially retconning them into having always existed is kind of a trope. It's been, like you said, it was in Buffy, it's been in a few other things.
Oh yeah. It's the entire storyline of the century.
Yeah.
So Thanos demands the name, basically grabs one of the workers off the ground that is just injured enough that he can still speak, and orders the name of the planet that they're on, to which the worker gives like half a dozen names, all having to do with Doom. Doom's Utopia, Doom's planet, Doom. And then just says they all call it Battle World, which at that point we have the title.
Dun, dun, dun.
At the beginning of issue 3, Strange.
Well, this is a different Battle World than the one that Beyonder created back for.
Yes, yeah, but as we'll find out, Doom basically cribbed the notes to create this one.
So he basically just copied off of Beyonder to make this whole thing happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, essentially.
Strange reports the week's transgressions to God Doom, and it is revealed that God Doom is omnipotent, but not omniscient. It's also revealed that Strange remembers before, because he was there when they created the world. He could have been God, but he didn't want it. Doom did.
Of course, Doom did. He always wants to be God.
Right.
Speaking of the Beyonder.
Yeah. Strange then reports the issue on Utopolis, and Strange goes to investigate and basically shows up at the massacre site. He confirms with a new magic eye, because he's not using the Eye of Agamotto. He's using a new eye that Doom gave him, that the people in the ship were not of this world. He orders the Doom Guard to bring him someone alive and says into the ship, "Come out, we're alone." And out comes Miles Morales, who we all had forgotten had stowed away on the ship. Strange questions Miles about the other occupants. And this is when Miles says he doesn't know. He was following obvious villains to find out what they were doing while the worlds converged around them. He was like, I concentrate on one thing, and it was bad guys getting into a ship. Strange realizes that means that Miles remembers the former world, which nobody is supposed to.
Right. So more heresy.
Yes. Susan is talking to God Doom about walking in the square and hearing villagers sing about a man in the sun. It's revealed that not only did Johnny Storm turn against God Doom in this world, Doom forced Susan to choose his fate, and she chose that he became this world's son. Like,
it is wild.
UN. God Doom confides in her that he's having second thoughts about staying in the world he created, saying, other gods create the world and leave. And he's saying he's the only flawed thing in the world. He can't even repair his own face. To which he takes his mask off, and you can see that he is still horribly scarred and everything. Yep.
Yeah, he still has the Doom face.
Yes. Susan disagrees with him and talks about how she chose him and how she loves him. Strange teleports new Thor and Miles to the hidden Isle of Agamotto, to his Sanctum Sanctorum. He reveals he knew about the ship, but was shocked to find that there were people in it. He says this is kind of a game changer, because he then reveals that he has another ship in his Sanctum Sanctorum. So he has another Thor open it the same way the worker did. And 616, Star-Lord, Jane Foster Thor, Captain Marvel, and Spider-Man all emerge. Miles recognizes Peter due to previous team-ups where Peter Parker went to the Ultimate Universe and met Miles. Strange and Carol start to confirm that they are the versions from the same universe, like starting to ask questions to make sure that Strange is the 616 version, and Strange is asking the same of Carol, when Carol says there are more people in the ship. And that's when Phoenix Cyclops walks out, as do Reed.
Again, I just want to say this seems like a tremendously bad idea.
I can't condone it.
Yeah. So
because we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened when Jean fused with the Phoenix.
Well, this has
Force.
also already happened in Avengers versus X-Men at the end. Cyclops, it was Cyclops, Colossus, Magic, and Emma Frost all got parts of the Phoenix Force. So
Yeah.
we have already seen previously this is a bad idea. So Strange reveals that they've been in stasis for 8 years, and no one on this world remembers the previous world, and Doom is God. 616 Reed, understandably, does not take this well, especially since to him, he lost his family 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So further, Strange had found the raft and kept it for 3 years, afraid of what might be inside. So he found it 5 years after the world had been formed, didn't know that there were people in it, suspected something was in it, but didn't want to open it for fear of something.
I mean, it's a legitimate fear.
Right.
Sure.
616 Reed demands to know what could outweigh allowing God Doom to run the world. And Strange answers, quote, "It's easy to explain, Reed. He's very good at playing God," end quote.
I mean, he's had a lot of practice over the years.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Like you can't really blame him. He's correct.
Right. So in Utopolis, 1610's Thanos, the villainous crew, discuss where they are and how they should have kept the lead Thor alive to question. Thanos says the answers will find them. And when people are like, how do you know that? He just indicates upwards where the Doom Guard are approaching in force.
I mean, that seems like a Thanos move.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of the, I already know, because they're already here, but I ain't worried.
Right? Issue 4. At the Sanctum Sanctorum,
He's only in issue 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strange explains to the 616 heroes, plus Miles, that he and Doom had tracked down the reason for the multiverse collapsing to the Beyonders. So they killed the Beyonders and took their power. Strange was the first one to look into basically the omnipotence and power that was left behind that somebody had to take, and he ran. Doom didn't. And then God Doom took all the shards that were left of all the different universes and kind of forced them together to create the reality, that the world that they're in now. Again, taking a page out of the Beyonder Battle World book. A piece of New York here, a bit of Wakanda there, etc.
Yeah.
No,
I was just saying, like, I remember like some of the other events that had Battle World tie-ins with that, like
Mhm.
Spider Island had its own thing.
Spider Island, there was a Civil War world where Civil War had just kept going on. There was, there's all sorts. And
So
this is where we get...
They took all of the all of the big recent events and just kind of went, oh, hey, here's an island for you.
Yeah.
It actually had one of my favorites that actually spun off and continued going, which was Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, which is the world where Peter and Mary Jane had a child.
Right, and then they shared the spider powers among all of their family, right?
Yes. So cool.
Yeah.
It was very, very cool series.
Really well written, too.
So here is where that whole Phoenix Cyclops is not a great idea, because Phoenix Cyclops is starting to ask questions like, if a world isn't perfect, then doesn't Doom have the responsibility to burn it down and make something better? And come to think of it, doesn't Cyclops?
Yeah.
Strange is starting to respond when new Thor's hammer glows, signaling he and Strange are being summoned somewhere. Back on Utopolis, battle rages. In the middle of the battle, Boar Thor starts praying, and it's exactly what you think. It is a boar that is Thor. But while he's praying, this communicates with God Doom, who is able to observe the battle with Susan and Valeria. They watch as Strange and his entourage appear and assist in the fight. Then, Doom sees that 616 Reed is with them. God Doom then teleports directly into the middle of the fight and yells, "Richards!" The Maker in one of my favorite...
Huh? Yells what?
Richards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you kind of garbled there, because I think you got a little loud for your mic.
In one of my favorite, like, off moments, the Maker, the 1610 Reed Richards, is like, he's not talking to me, is he? The 616 Richards and Doom face off and trade some mighty words. But they are interrupted as the 1610 Thanos challenges Doom at pretending to be a god. God Doom corrects him and clarifies he is God. He then explodes Thanos and says he understands their confusion, everyone's confusion. He is merciful. He will give everyone from the other worlds a moment to readjust their thinking and then bend their knee. Phoenix Cyclops attacks God Doom, saying he will claim the planet and he will be the ruler. God Doom then grabs Phoenix Cyclops by the neck and stabs it, killing him. Strange sees which way the wind is blowing and teleports everyone there, quote, to the winds. So 1610 and 616 alike, they all get spread around Battle World. God Doom demands Strange bring them back, and when Strange refuses, saying it's good to have Reed there so Doom can be scared, God Doom vaporizes Strange.
Like you do.
Like you did. Issue 5. We start at Strange's funeral. No one knows who killed him, only that he died in the Utopolis fight. A giant statue is committed to Strange next to another giant statue of Molecule Man.
And this is the first we've heard of Molecule Man since the first issue, right?
You just see a statue in the background. No idea other than that yet what's going on.
Like has he been seen since the first issue?
No.
Okay.
No.
So him being dead and memorialized is
Never
as
really
confusing to anybody else. Okay, got it.
Nope, he's just a big statue at Castle
Yeah.
Doom. 616 Jane Foster Thor is seen to be with new Thor in the Doomsguard. Like basically she's hiding amongst the other Dooms or in the other Thors.
I mean,
Right.
if there's one place that a Thor is going to be able to hide,
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
it was a pretty slick pre-made disguise.
Yeah, right. It's like, it's kind of like in the you got red on you, Shaun of the Dead, when they just start stumbling around as zombies.
Yes.
or the moment in The Mummy, where
Right.
Jonathan just
Right, exactly.
but yeah, no, it's a pretty slick thing. It's
Mhm.
aren't you a little short to be a Thor?
Yeah, right. Franklin Richards, who was good friends with Strange, vows to mash whoever killed Strange to little pieces. God Doom and Valeria meet privately, and God Doom tasks her with finding all of the other worlders, though he does not tell her what they are. He states he is too angry to do it, and he might break the world. After she leaves, God Doom teleports to an area of infinite power, which houses Molecule Man, who has gone batshit crazy.
Yeah, he is cuckoo bananas.
Well, I mean, from the sounds of it, he's been locked up for 8 years at this point in the universe.
God Doom tells Molecule Man that Strange is dead, and we get the backstory of how he became to be God. The Beyonders created a Molecule Man in every universe, and their plan was to detonate them all at once and destroy the multiverse. However, since they made him into...
So, hold on.
Yeah.
What are Molecules Man? So I vaguely know who this character is. So I didn't really question at the beginning, but what are his powers that they'd be able to just spontaneously blow him up and destroy a universe with him?
Sure. Go ahead, Leia.
So this was very difficult for me to understand as well, but it seems like he kind of has the powers where he could be detonated like a nuclear bomb, but a really big one.
Okay.
Right. He has the power to manipulate things on a molecular level.
Okay.
So if you figure that
comparable to Firestorm in DC.
Right.
And so he is a person's worth of atoms all splitting at once at that point.
I could see how they could use that to destroy the universe.
Right.
Yeah, it's very loosely outlined. They don't really get into details. It's just
it's comic book science.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just we'll just do this and that makes sense,
So, but since they made Molecule Man as a person, he actually had a major flaw, which was choice. So this Molecule Man sought out Doom and started working with him, and they found out that there was also created the Black Swans in every universe, and they are basically like the priests of the Beyonders, and their job was to make sure that the detonations all happen at the same time. So they started manipulating other Black Swans in different areas to detonate their Molecule Mans early. So that's why there had been a bunch of other worlds that had been destroyed leading up to the convergence, and why 616 and 1610 were the two last ones, because those were the main basically universes that the Black Swans there had come over along with the Molecule Man of those universes.
And this particular Molecule Man is 1610?
616.
61. Okay.
Yep.
So is God Doom isn't the 616 though, is he?
He is. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Knowing
Doom-
knowing what I know about Doom and his slight megalomania.
His doomy ways.
Yes. Doom, Molecule Man, and Strange face the Beyonders, and using Molecule Man's powers, they killed the Beyonders and channeled their power once Doom chose it into Doom. Strange was going to take it, but decided not to.
I mean, he made the heroic choice of, I don't want to be a god.
Right. So at the Future Foundation's Department of Science, Valeria orders all her agents, who they aren't even like all superheroes. There's Nikola Tesla's here, Nostradamus is here, like in the science department.
Basically anybody who has ever existed and whose likeness is probably in public domain.
Pretty much. I was very confused about Nostradamus being there because he's not really a scientist.
Right?
That's fine. Do what you want, I guess.
Well, I mean, if you kind of think about it, it kind of makes sense since, Doom has, for one thing, Doom has always been kind of straddling that line between science and magic and all of that.
Oh, sure, absolutely. And I mean, I guess like I'll give him credit, regardless of whether or not Nostradamus was or was not, a qualifying scientist. It might be cool to hang with him. Like I could see absolutely just bringing him with for company.
Yeah.
So, Valeria basically orders the entirety of the Department of Science to find the Otherworlders. And at that point, Alex Powers basically says, okay, I think I have a way of finding them, because it's revealed that everything in the world is made of doom particles, except when Strange used his powers, it showed an absence of those particles. So maybe they can track these anti-doom particles on all the Otherworlders and find them.
Again, comic book science.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. It's like matter and antimatter, except not.
Right.
Except Doom.
Yeah.
Because that's all things should be. They are Doom.
All things are Doom.
Valeria suspects Strange was how the Otherworlders got away and hopes to track and capture them all to find why God is scared of them. Issue 6.
I like that motivate. I just want to make a note of. I like the motivation of not. I want to stop them for my father and to make sure that his reign is supreme and all yada yada yada. It's why is he scared of these people?
Right.
Yeah.
That seems like relevant information.
Right? Absolutely. So we start 3 weeks later. Valeria has caught the 1610 Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. The 1610 Black Swan has turned on them and now serves God Doom. And Black Swan is basically giving information to God Doom on the other 1610 rebels, but doesn't know who the 616 rebels are.
Okay.
At the Foundation, Valeria is told the source of God Doom's power has been found, and it's deep within the planet. Also, drones have started to appear, launched by unknown persons in a search pattern. We wonder who that is, but it's revealed immediately because we cut to both Reed Richards working together to figure out how to defeat/destroy God Doom.
Okay, so side note on this, we talked a little about this a little bit before the podcast. I've got a really broad and shallow knowledge of comic books. Isn't there later on a council of reeds?
No.
Great question. I don't know.
I don't believe so. At least I haven't read that. At the end of this, you'll kind of know what's going on with Reed.
Yeah, it will eventually make a sort of sense.
Right.
All right, so I just Googled it, and yes, there is an interdimensional council of reeds.
Okay. Well, of course there is. Somehow you're responsible for this, Adam. I know you're listening.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
So, and an interesting note is the 616 read is like, yes, we must defeat God Doom. And the 1610 read is like, we must destroy God Doom.
Yeah, yeah.
And the 616 read is like, that's semantics.
Right.
Let's see. They discuss Maker's prophet, who is someone in a mask who has basically started going kingdom to kingdom, convincing people that Doom is not God and raising an army against him. And they basically are like, this will be a good distraction. But in this, they also both see that Susan is married to God Doom. 616 Reed kind of shrugs it off and ignores that his wife is married to Doom and says the first step in finding how God Doom has his power. This first step is finding how how God Doom has his power, and he sent Peter Parker and Miles Morales to find out. So the two Spider-Men basically are infiltrating Castle Doom.
Yep.
I can see so many ways that this can go wrong and so many ways that this can go right, and they're probably all going to happen at the same time.
Yes.
Like, I am a Spider-Man fan on par with Josh.
Yes.
Excellent.
So like I love Spider-Man, and I do appreciate that he's being, featured in this. At the same time, I kind of had that thought of okay, I get it. I get why they're grabbing all of these like super special people for saving the universe, but Spider-Man seemed an odd choice because as much of it as genius as he is with chemical engineering and things like that, not so much a saving the universe level scientist.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Correct. So they arrive at Castle Doom and they have a little doohickey that the Reeds had made them. That's kind of like a divining rod for power.
Okay, so it's kind of a doom hickey.
God.
Oh God.
That's two.
That's two. 3 strikes and you're out, buddy. You win.
All right, there's no way that Josh himself hasn't made worse puns in this podcast or some other podcast.
All right, you have a very valid point, and I will allow it.
So they start following the doohickey, and they get to Molecule Man's giant statue. Valeria is there, and she's like, "Oh, hey, what's going on? You guys must be looking for how God Doom has all this power too." And they're like, yes. Are you going to turn us in? She's like, no, but I'm also not going to go down there. I really don't feel like having that knowledge because I'd have to face my father. So I'm going to let you go down there, though. But you have to answer 2 questions for me. And they're like, okay. And she says, You can
stop the god of this world, but first, could you take a survey?
Right.
You must answer our riddles 3.
You finally found the statue of Molecule Man. We've been trying to contact you about your car's warranty. So the first question is, are you from another world? To which they say, yeah. And she says, okay, did you kill Stephen Strange? They're like, no, we weren't there when Stephen Strange died. So she's like, okay, cool. The trapdoor's right there. Bye. So then the Spider-Men descend and talk to Molecule Man. I'm not going to get into this scene because I really want everyone to read this book. This scene is fucking brilliant.
It's Peter Parker and Miles Morales talking to an absolutely insane person.
Well, and it also deals with Molecule Man is always hungry, and it's been brought up over and over, and it will continue to be brought up. And the only person that gives him food is Miles.
Yes.
And so Molecule Man is willing to help them. He basically
because
tells
Miles
them,
feeds them.
Yes. Because Miles, yes. Again, I'm not going to go into it because it's brilliant and it's very awesome Peter Miles moment. But
I've actually really always loved their dynamic.
Yes.
Because as much as because Pete has this weird inferiority complex because he's always being compared to all of the other like huge, larger than life heroes in the Marvelverse, like Iron Man and Captain Marvel and even Captain America. But then you have this kid Miles who just absolutely 100% idolizes him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
It's really sweet.
Yeah. And later
to Miles, there is no greater hero than Peter fucking Parker.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this podcast.
Yes, you absolutely are. It's okay. Also it's similar to Ms. Marvel's relationship with Captain Marvel. And it's awesome that Ms. Marvel and Miles are good friends, and both of them ship Peter and Carol together.
Yes, and Peter and Carol definitely do not ship Peter and Carol.
They do not.
No, in no way.
Especially Carol.
Right. So, now that they know that he's the source of God Doom's power, we cut to God Doom, who is meeting with all of his barons about the prophet and his uprising. We find out that the upper and lower kingdoms have fallen. God Doom ends the call by ordering all of the barons to quell the resistance. The call ends, and Sinister asks Captain Marvel, who has a sinister diamond in her forehead.
Oh, joy.
What they should do. Basically Sinister's like, should we do this? And Carol punches him. And he's like, well, should we do this? She punches him again. He's like, I know. We should be naughty. And Carol's like, yes.
Oh, God.
Give him his own book.
Yes. And give me Sinister Carol too. Sinister
Yes.
Carol is awesome.
That was dope.
So 616 Namor and Black Panther have basically found the island of Agamotto by swimming through the ocean until they found it.
I guess. Sure. All right. Comic books.
Black Panther reveals that before Strange died, he gave him the Eye of Agamotto, and he uses it to open the Sanctum Sanctorum, to which an image of Strange appears with basically the "in the event of my death" recording, and it asks for a password. Black Panther says Illuminatus, to which Strange accepts the password, and basically is like, okay, well, obviously I'm dead, so I bequeath to you 2 items of power. The first being the Siege Courageous, which allows for teleportation anywhere. And then
so it's basically the Siege Perilous, but different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then it's like while Namor is like, ooh, yeah, like staring at that, Black Panther's like, dear mother of God, dear mother Bass. Because he had opened the second box, to which the fully loaded Infinity Gauntlet is in there, and Black Panther puts it on.
That is a great panel, by the way. It is beautiful.
It is.
I bet.
So Franklin is going to bed and asks Susan to tell him the story of the Fantastic Four, which is apparently just a bedtime story that he gets all the time. In the telling, Reed is completely replaced with Stu and Johnny's father, Franklin. God Doom saved them all from the harsh new world that they came back to after getting their powers. But unfortunately, Grandpa Franklin died. Stu fell in love with God Doom, and Johnny became the son. When Franklin asks about Uncle Ben Grimm, Stu avoids the question and is like, okay, bedtime. We then cut to the shield.
That's not suspicious.
Right. We then cut to the shield, that giant wall, where 1610 Thanos is basically sitting on the ground talking to the wall, which is then shown to be Ben Grimm. Thanos...
He's enormous.
Yes. Thanos convinces Ben to stop being a wall and that God Doom has lied to him and basically exposed everything, to which Ben stands up. So the wall stands up.
I can see how this might end poorly, considering that the wall was the only thing holding back the army of symbiotes and Ultron drones, and I'm honestly surprised that we don't have a 2099 gamma waste level like Banner Beast Hulk throng just to throw in there for the fun of it.
Oh boy,
wait.
Hang in there.
One thing that I did not say is that when Franklin comes in to go to bed, he has spent all day running around with his pet Galactus.
Yes.
Galactus, in his...
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, Galactus in his eye, I'm still like 10 stories tall, but at least I can stand on the earth form. Is basically Franklin Richards' pet, and Franklin controls him.
Yes, this is a real thing that happened in this book.
Right. Okay. Phenomenal cosmic power.
Itty bitty living space. Yes.
Yes.
So, issue 7. The Prophet's story is revealed, and he is basically building an army, and he reveals himself to be the 1610 Maximus, who is Black Bolt's brother. He's an Inhumans bad guy. The armies of all the barons oppose him, and the Doomsguard basically starts approaching the battle to jump in. So it looks like this rebellion is going to be squashed. The Reeds are going to take advantage of the distraction and have 616 Star-Lord fly them in undetected.
Undetected doesn't really seem like 616 Star-Lord's modus operandi.
No, and this is so this was written in 2015, and it's very clear. So Marvel has done this thing that I've noticed in the past, handful of years, ever since the MCU came out, where a lot of the artists and the writers, it seems to me, kind of like low key gave up and started just writing the MCU characters in.
I understand it especially from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And obviously those versions of those characters are very popular.
Sure. I'm not mad about it at all. This was actually one of the few times where I was reading this, I was reading a comic series where I could actually hear Chris Pratt's voice as I was reading the lines. It's wonderful. I like him in this particular book for sure.
Yeah, I will say though, they're only allowed to make Maria Hill look like Colby Smulders if they stop fucking her up in every large...
Yes.
Like if they stop just being like, oh, and Maria, you can be the villain for this one, but it's the villain last time.
No, give somebody else a turn.
Right. So 616 Reed calls Black Panther, and basically is like, send your Wakandan army, to which you see the Black Panther has very easily already taken over his shard of Wakanda. And they use the Siege Courageous to basically send the Black Panther army, the Wakandan army, into the battle. And then they teleport, Black Panther and Namor, 616, teleport to the shield, which there is still an area of the wall that is intact. So Ben wasn't all of it. He was just part of it.
I mean, that makes more sense.
Yes.
Right. Black Panther, since he has gotten the gauntlet, has referred to himself 3 or 4 times as the King of the Dead. And Namor basically makes fun of him. Is like, why do you keep calling yourself that? To which Black Panther explodes a section of the wall and commands all the zombies on the other side to follow them through the Siege Courageous and go to battle.
It's tight.
That's one way of doing it. You also mean if they're already done. And quick question: are these just standard run-of-the-mill zombies, or are these like Marvel zombies?
We'll get to that in a moment. I feel like.
Well, you can see that they are from Marvel zombies because you can pick out certain heroes here and there.
Yeah, like the panel that I'm thinking of in specific was Braddock.
Yes.
Who's now a zombie.
Who's now a zombie. So back at the battle, Maximus falls, like is destroyed, and his army is about to break when Sinister and Carol Sinister are sitting on the sidelines. They're like, he lost. Well, that sucks. What do we do now? And both of them are like, well, this is obviously time for our sudden and inevitable betrayal. So Sinister basically orders his army, his army, who is, by the way, all clones of him.
Because of course it is.
Yes.
Because there's, I wonder who's the greater narcissist of 616, if it's Doom or if it's Sinister.
Sinister all the way. Sinister all the way.
Yeah.
Sinister makes Doom look like an amateur in self-love.
All right, that's fair. No, that's fair. They have very different neuroses. Sinister is very much the narcissist. Doom is very much the megalomaniac of I am the one true god of all creation, and I'm going to make that happen. And then Sinister's over here just like, why would I want to be a great god of creation? I'm already awesome.
Yeah,
Look at
exactly.
me. I mean, come on. Do you see this cape?
Well, and speaking of beautiful Sinister moments, Sinister has his army not turn on everyone, but specifically turn on Madeline Pryor's Goblin army. And Carol Sinister and Sinister basically join that fight too, and get to the point where they kill Madeline Pryor. And Sinister says it's because he can't stand the tacky outfit she's wearing.
I love him so much.
Goes after her because of their... See, this just goes to show he's basically just Marvel's Frankenfurter.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Mixed with Bowie, like a lot of Bowie in there.
Yeah. And I feel like he's just gotten more and more flamboyant as time goes on.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
As he should. Out of nowhere, Sinister's head is cut off by a big robot and is picked up and taken over to Apocalypse, who goes to question it when the floating Doomguard castle arrives, but no Thors come out. And people are like, well, that's weird. Where are the Thors? Inside, 616 Jane Foster has basically told all the Thors about God Doom and how he isn't really a god and basically spills everything.
Oh boy.
They split allegiances in half. So basically, there's a huge ass fight in the Thor Hall between all of the Thors.
All right, I do have another pun for this, but I don't know if I'm going to get kicked off for it or not.
You will not get kicked off for it.
So basically, they're having a civil Thor.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god.
They're all going to be Thor tomorrow.
I'm going to sign off, y'all. Bye.
So Jane Foster's side wins and joins the battle to the battle cry of Smite God.
I mean, as far as battle cries go, that one's pretty epic.
Yep. Yeah, I was impressed.
The battle rages and Maestro's ship arrives, who is another one of the Barons. Yeah.
Jesus.
He orders his Hulk army to break the world as hundreds of Hulks jump off of the ship to the ground battle below.
And are they all green Hulks, or is there red thrown in there too?
They're all green
Hulks.
from what I saw.
Yeah.
He literally calls them his army of world breakers, which is pretty tight.
I mean, especially after reading through Planet Hulk, that is appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and they all of these Hulks also jump off of the ship, all of them screaming smash.
Yes.
Well, what else is an army of Hulks gonna say?
Right.
It's a really cool panel because I wasn't expecting that at all, and I saw that, and I had the same reaction that Thor did in Ragnarok when he sees Hulk in the battle arena. I was like, yes.
My wife will attest, like when we went to see Avengers in theaters, that moment when Captain America is like giving out the orders, form a perimeter and goes and Hulk smash.
Yeah.
I basically squealed and clapped like a giddy little kid.
You and me both, friend.
Because Hulk is definitely my second favorite comic book character, only after Spider-Man.
Nice.
So,
yeah, that was a good moment.
The Hulks do affect the main plot because meanwhile 616 Star-Lord is flying the Reed to Doom's castle when a Hulk leaps up and tears the aft engines off. Maestro is on his ship screaming at Castle Doom that once his army clears the field, he is coming after God Doom. When Ben Grimm smacks his ship to the ground and destroys it,
I mean, if you have a thing that's that's big enough to form a giant section of what is the equivalent of the Great Wall of China.
Yep.
Yeah, he can take out Maestro.
So, in one of my favorite little cameos, 1610 Terrax appears as the Herald of Galactus and heralds Galactus's arrival, and Ben just steps on him and squishes. But then Galactus, controlled by Franklin, who is riding Galactus, appears and starts fighting Ben Grimm. 616 Star-Lord and the Reeds have crashed into the castle. The Reeds go to complete their mission while Star-Lord stays behind to fix the ship. I'm not exactly sure how he's supposed to fix a ship that's engines have been ripped off, but comic book. He
does have his element guns. I'm sure something can come out of that.
Right. The Annihilation Horde, which is the former army of the Beyonders, I think, arrived since there's no shield anymore to keep them back. They're a drone army. Ben faces off with Franklin Galactus, but has never met Franklin. So when Franklin says something about his father, Ben is like, wait, are you Sue's kid? And Franklin's like, yeah, what does it matter? Because he doesn't know who Ben is. So Ben allows Franklin to Sue watches all of this.
Well, I mean, yeah, because he's Doom's.
Yeah, right. He's Doom's kid, which means he's Ben's nephew. Sue watches all of this and is basically horrified. Valeria shows up and asks her to follow her, asks Sue to follow her. Black Swan finds 616 Star-Lord, and she just starts kicking his ass. So out of one of his satchels, he pulls a small stick and forces it into the ground. And that's when giant Groot grows from it, destroying half of the castle.
That was delightful.
Yeah, no, I imagine. Which I don't know if either of you have watched the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that Disney put out.
Yes, yeah.
The few episodes where they have the Guardians of the Galaxy come in and Groot goes, and grows giant and just wrecks things, and it's always a delight.
Yes. Yeah, it was good. I mean, like in several panels prior to this, Peter has been shown with like a toothpick in his mouth, right? And you don't think anything of it.
Right.
And then when he just slams that into the ground, it becomes Groot. And I was like, yes. Yeah.
This fight, like basically when we started on issue 7 on, just becomes fan service. It is just all right. Well, what do we got? Infinity Gauntlet. Fine, fuck it, throw it in there.
It sounds like they did exactly what you expect Marvel to do, from throwing in all of their various different, universes and one-offs and side stories and everything else into one giant thing.
Right.
And they throw everything at it. Like you said, they've got Galactus and the Infinity Gauntlet and the Phoenix Force and Doom with omnipotent powers, right. the centuries-old Hulk who has become super smart and a villain. And
and again,
throws it all together and you get this delightful, horrifying, amazing stew of what the fuck.
Absolutely. Yes. Good way to describe it.
Yeah.
So Valeria takes Sue to the Molecule Man statue where they meet up with the two Reeds. God Doom enters the field and faces off against 1610 Thanos, who he killed. So I guess he didn't kill Thanos before. Although I remember he did, so I don't know.
Like, do they ever explain that? Because like you told me like he reduces him to dust, and then we cut to like a few issues later, he's sitting and talking to Ben.
Yeah, I did not understand that either. I'm not sure if there was another Thanos somewhere in there, maybe that was.
I mean, it's probably explained in one of the side stories.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because Thanos is famous for being so resilient that he can keep coming back. And in fact, he does say, you're not powerful enough to destroy me. To which Doom reaches into him, grabs his spine, and vaporizes him to a skeleton.
Yeah, like he pulls his whole skeleton out of his body. It was wild.
Yeah.
Sounds very Mortal Kombat.
It very much looked like a fatality, honestly.
Right? God Doom then looks at the Annihilus army and says, well, so you're beyond the shield, huh? Well, you owe me for, coming onto my property. And Annihilus is like, yeah, that's fair. So God Doom's like, okay, well, destroy all these people. And then that's when Black Panther, wearing the gauntlet, and Namor arrive. Panther and Doom fight God to God. There's a lot of talking about how they're fighting God to God. The Reeds approach Molecule Man, and Maker tries to betray the 616 Reed by throwing him in a bubble that starts to de-evolve him into a monkey. When Molecule Man steps in and basically reduces Maker to like inch slices that fall onto the ground.
Well,
and
that's gruesome.
Yeah. And he, Molecule Man fixes Reed and then tells him to buck up because, quote, he'll be here soon and then we'll see what's what, end quote. God Doom realizes the battle is a distraction and goes to Molecule Man, where he and Reed are equals according to Molecule Man because neither of them have food for him.
So really,
the
god to Molecule Man is just Miles Morales.
Yes. Yes, the only person that gives him food in this, other than Doom early in the thing. Doom does bring him something early in the. No, he doesn't. Never mind. No, Miles is the only person to give him food. So Reed and Doom fight, and Doom says Reed thinks he could have done better with all that power, and Reed says he could, and Victor knows it, and Doom reluctantly is like, "Well, fine, but I'll kill you anyway." And Molecule Man goes, "As long as you two agree." And the world explodes as Molecule Man gives all the power to Reed because Doom agreed with Reed. Black Panther is shown back in Wakanda. The Spider-Men are in New York City teaming up. Stu and Valeria are in a weird between world where Reed, now with the god power, is having Franklin dream up world, which Reed like solidifies and throws out to become basically part of the multiverse. As they're doing
this is specifically not restoring the destroyed worlds, it's making new ones.
Yes.
Or is this Franklin tapping into his powers to go, I dream of this world that existed with the Captain Britain Corps and all of that, and
it is unclear. It is unclear.
It's not really established very, very well.
So basically Reed starts monologuing, saying that there are no Richards family anywhere in any of the worlds, that he's going to keep his family together until the universe is restored, or the multiverse is restored, basically, because as they're restoring the multiverse,
so basically he's being selfish.
Kind of. Yeah. As he's restoring the multiverse,
it kind of sounds like he's kind of going, well, no Reed Richards can have his family until I have mine. Damn it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
So but also as he's creating these multiverses, he's also healing Molecule Man, because every world that's created makes him less crazy, because the reason he went crazy is because he destroyed all those versions of himself in all the other multiverses.
He had too many molecules.
Yes. So as the book kind of fades out, the panels focus on Latveria and Castle Doom, where Doom stands on his balcony and takes off his mask to find that his face has been fully healed. And that is Secret Wars.
Yeah, that's it. That's the book.
I mean, it's definitely sounds like a ride.
It is.
It is.
We have done far less complicated stories that I have enjoyed less. I did enjoy reading this. This was a fun story, and like I said, it's got enough fan service and stuff. It just, Hickman is dense. He is. His material is dense. Like, we also did House of X, Powers of X, which was also by Hickman, and again, great story, but you gotta dig.
Yeah, it's really like comparing the two. Like, this one was much easier to understand and had less world building and lore and scientific diagrams and graphs and charts in it.
True. It's true. Timelines.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, like you were saying, like it sounds like, I mean, it's this weird, like you said, it's kind of cribbing back from the original Battle World, the original Secret Wars kind of thing of here's this world that's this huge, weird conglomeration of everything else that we've ever had ever.
Mm-hmm.
And here's all of these heroes and villains that we've pitted against each other for no other reason than just because they're kind of there.
Right. It's like, hey, you ever want to see this guy fight this guy? Well, now that's what's happening.
So,
but ultimately, at the end of it, Squirrel Girl wins.
Of course.
Yeah, maybe in one of these. So keep in mind that these were 9 issues. The following is the list of other titles that were under the Secret Wars banner. There's also a bunch that is the lead-in called Last Days, but I'm not going to do those. I'm just going to do the ones that
I remember there was a bit in Miss Marvel's first original run, like Kamala Khan, obviously, that she was like, "Hey, what's going on? Can I help?" And Captain Marvel's like, "It's above your pay grade," and flies off, and it turns out it was this whole thing.
Right. So the following are just Battle World and Warzone stories, which were under the banner of Secret Wars. Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies, Ghost Racers, Inhumans, Atlian Rising, Marvel Zombies, Master of Kung Fu, Red Skull, Runaways, Secret Wars Journal, Secret Wars Battle World, Secret Wars Secret Love, Siege, Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde, Thor's Ultimate End, 1602 Witch Hunter Angela, 1872 A-Force, Age of Apocalypse, Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, Arva Wars, Captain Britain and the Mighty Defenders, Captain Marvel and the Carol Corps, Civil War, Deadpool's Secret Wars, E is for Extinction, Future Imperfect, Giant Size Little Marvel, Avengers vs. X-Men, Guardians of Nowhere, Hail Hydra, Hank Johnson, Agent of Hydra, House of M, Howard the Human, Inferno, Infinity Gauntlet, Korvac Saga, MODOK Assassin, Mrs. Deadpool and the Howling Commandos, Old Man Logan, Planet Hulk, Secret Wars 2099, Secret Wars Agents of Atlas, Spider Island, Spider-Verse, Squadron Sinister, Weird World, Where Monsters Dwell, X-Men 92, Extinction Agenda, and Years of Future Past.
My God, I didn't realize there was so much. Like, I knew there was a lot, but that is a lot. Holy shit.
That is a lot.
Right?
But it sounds like Leia gets her wish, and there's a whole Sinister thing where it's just about Sinister.
I'm going to have to look that up now. What is it called again?
Let's see. Perfect.
It was right at the end, towards the end.
Squadron Sinister.
Okay, well, I'm going to Amazon.
Hold on, I'm looking at it. It has nothing to do with Mr. Sinister.
Boo this book.
How dare you?
Yeah, that was very rude to tease that.
Yeah, no, that's just Dr. Spectrum, Hyperion, Nighthawk, and Whizzer.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm sure there's gotta be more Sinister in here. You just gotta find it.
Gotta dig deep.
Find that nougat center.
Like I'm really between this and House of X, Powers of X. I'm gonna lobby them. I'm gonna be like, dear sirs and madams, please do this for me, Leia.
I mean, if somebody can successfully pitch to the MCU and the powers that be at Disney for a Jimmy Woo and Darcy buddy cop series.
Yeah. I mean, back in 2016 when Civil War came out, one of the first things I said upon exiting the theater was that Sam and Bucky need to have their own show, and look what happened. Right. So I think that I can use my powers for good here and maybe get Mr. Sinister his own book, if not his own show. That would be great. Right.
I mean, I know he's involved with all the Krakoa stuff. So he is in, I think the new X-Force books has him in there a lot, and Hellions. So, I mean, he's in newer stuff. But, so, Mark, how did we do explaining Secret Wars?
I mean, you definitely made me want to read it.
Well, that's good.
Good.
If for nothing else than Peter and Miles, because and of course Sinister, who is too good for this world.
Yeah, the only way that could have been the only way that could have been better is if they had thrown Ben Reilly in too.
That was Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse had Ben Reilly. It's okay.
I just wanted to make you twinge. I really just wanted to troll you.
Still did not forgive you for not coming on the Spider-Verse or the Clone Saga episode.
Well, they haven't done the Clone Saga.
Oh,
and, I wouldn't be able to do retcon conversations because I've read the Clone Saga.
No, that's true. That's true. Although they just I just sent it
I'm
to Leia
sorry.
the other day. They've announced Miles Morales' Spider-Man is going to have a Clone Saga in the next year.
I honestly thought when you sent me that it was a like a prank, like a meme.
Yeah.
And it isn't, and I don't like it.
There's one thing this season has shown Leia, it's she fucking hates clones.
I fucking hate clones.
And yet she likes Sinister.
Well, I mean,
Okay, that's, you know what? For every rule, there must be an exception, and that is my exception.
Because I'm just gonna go on that and say, okay, you hate clones, but then Sinister, and then like that's his whole deal, especially in the 90s when clones were everywhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He was responsible
And, like,
for at least half of them.
in his case, I'll take all the clones you got.
Yeah,
Everybody
listen,
else can fuck off with their clones.
I could do a slice of life Far Sinister comic book where it's just every character is Sinister. Sinister is every character.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, I will say this about like the Clone Saga. It is really one of those things where it kind of, you look at like Fox especially, and like the studio meddling of going, hey, this is popular, do more of this. And the core of Clone Saga, the core of it, the original like setup, the original stretch of it was really good.
Yeah.
And then they said, do more.
Right. No, we did discuss that. And then right after that we went into Sin's Pass, and then we went into One More Day. And we're gonna take it easy on Spidey for season 2, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it makes sense to have a lot of Spidey because he is their flagship character.
It's true.
Like Marvel almost went under in the early 90s, if I remember right, early to mid 90s. And 2 properties saved them, and that was Spider-Man and X-Men.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Spidey is such an ubiquitous part of Marvel that his face is their stamp.
Right.
Or this is an official Marvel comic.
Right. And as long as we still have a drunk Tom Holland, we can keep it all together. Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome. Hold on.
It was definitely my pleasure to learn about this wonderful insanity that seems to be the 2015 Secret Wars.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
Well, everyone, please be sure to join us. We, of course, are going week to week, alternating between Graphically Novel and Rec Conversation. So next week on Graphically Novel, we will be doing Two Guns, which I didn't even know was a comic book. I knew about the movie. And then in 2 weeks, our season finale already, Leia.
Oh my God.
Yep. We will have Mike Tomzak back to bookend the season and be doing Civil War 2.
I'll make sure that he has more bourbon on hand this time.
That's a good idea. Well, until next time, take it away, Vandello.
A little wreck conversation, some deep reactions, please. All this comics narration alienating me. A little more talk, a lot less read. A little fight, baby, is what I need. Close the trade, open up your brains. Explain it to me. Explain it to me, baby. Explain it to me. Explain it to me, baby. Explain it to me. Vandello 2021.